It's me again, back with the New York Jets preview. And where else do you expect I'm going to start but with the quarterback situation? It's Mark Sanchez versus Geno Smith. And for right now, it looks like Geno Smith is out of the competition and it is Mark Sanchez's job again, which means the Jets cannot expect to be getting a high quality starting quarterback play, which really isn't going to impact this team. They don't have a lot of talent as it is. On offense, they're relying on a lot of washed up stars. You have Kellen Winslow, who could be their starting tight end, and Braylon Edwards, who could be their starting wide receiver. Both these players were out of the league for the vast majority of last season. Your number one receiver, Santonio Holmes, is coming off a major foot injury. Who knows how effective he'll be? The one interesting player on the offense is Stephen Hill, the big Georgia Tech product, could be an elite receiver, but he's very raw and still taking time to develop. On the offensive line, they have two All-Pros in Nick Mangold at center and D'Brickashaw Ferguson at left tackle. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter because they got Sanchez playing behind them, and if Sanchez was to be good, he'd need to be about 5 seconds in the pocket, not the 3 or 4 he may be afforded. Running back is actually an interesting position. They traded for Chris Ivory from the Saints, but Chris Ivory was just a rotation back with the Saints, not a number one back, and that's basically all the Jets have. They have Bilal Powell, Joe McKnight, and really you don't have a starter. You have 3 guys who look to take carries away from each other. There's no guy who's going to take the ball and run with it for 1,000 yards. I expect all these guys to combine for about an average of 500 yards apiece. Maybe one guy pops up and gets 800, but you don't have an elite back. Moving to the defense, where they spend both their first-round picks this offseason. First, on the defensive line, they picked Missouri's Sheldon Richardson. This could be an interesting pick because the defensive line already has possibly the second best 3-4 defensive end in Muhammad Wilkerson. Really, Muhammad Wilkerson is just second to J.J. Watt, and he is an elite player who can move, rush the passer, knock down passes. He is a total package. Richardson was excellent on a bad Missouri team that was rebuilding in its first year in the SEC. Now we move to the first of their first-round picks in Dee Milner. The 9th overall selection replaces Darrelle Revis, who was traded to Tampa Bay, and of course the NFL scheduled that matchup for Week 1 in the Meadowlands. Last year's number one replacing Darrelle Revis after injury was Antonio Cromartie, who can be a Pro Bowl guy who takes the football away, but can also be a guy who gets beat too and takes some silly penalties. That also pushes former first-round pick Kyle Wilson from the starting lineup to cover the slot receiver. The former Boise State product looks to continue to improve 2 years following his horrible rookie season where he was consistently burned. As for the outside linebackers in the pass rush, the Jets are looking to see, what does Calvin Pace have left? The answer is going to be not a whole heck of a lot. Luckily for them, last year's first round pick, Quentin Coples, appears to be able to now play 3 downs, which is something he couldn't do last year. If he's able to play all 3 downs at an elite level, they have a Pro Bowl caliber pass rusher. But that still has to be proven. As we move to the safety, they signed DeJuan Landry from the Jags. He's a thumper. He's a former Rex Ryan player, but it'll be interesting to see how much does he have left coming to New York. The defense could be near around 12th best in the league, but it's not going to win games for this team that has one of the worst offenses in the league. Overall, I see them going 4-12, a long way from the days of Rex Ryan predicting this team was a Super Bowl contender every single year.